You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCCW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Extension Hour. I'm Amy Ressler, County Extension Agent, Family and Community Health. And this is the Extension Hour. We talk about all kinds of things related to Extension, our people, our programs, our partnerships. And we've got some great partners with us in the room today. We have several folks from Motivation Education Training. So MET is the acronym for it. So throughout the show, we'll be saying MET a lot. And I guess if you're not familiar with what that is, then it can sound kind of strange when you talk about, well, MET does this and MET does that. Because we do that a lot in Extension as well. Like, you know, we have a lot of acronyms or even terms that we talk about that we think that everybody understands because we understand, but sometimes we don't. So I'm rambling. It's time to get started with the show. So, you know what, though, before we do that, so like I said, it's Extension Hour. We talk about some of the things that are going on. And one of the things that people just love about Extension and all the things that we do is our Master Gardener program. We've got like 460 volunteers who are Master Gardeners. They do some wonderful work. They work, there's lots of demonstration gardens around our office, and then they do a lot of community outreach as well. So just put on your calendar, March 14th is one of their next community outreach events, and that's they do a Saturday series of classes. So they do one class 8 to 10, another class 10:30 to 12:30. Small fee, $5 per session or $8 for both. So you get a deal there that covers the cost of materials, hands-on supplies, and refreshments. So March 14th is going to be the next one. And the first session is going to be must do, should do, and don't do in your garden. Because sometimes it's hard to know where to start. What am I supposed to do? So these are the things you have to do. These are the things you should do. And these are the things that you should not do. And then the second session is going to be attracting bees, butterflies, and other pollinators. Because lots of folks, that's one of the reasons why they even want to have a garden. So if you were interested in that, you can call the Extension office to sign up, 936-539-7824. Also, the Master Gardeners have a great website, very informational, informative. Montgomery County Master Gardener Association, so their acronym is mcmga.com. So all those are listed on there. And then the next thing that comes up for them on March 28th is what people love to come to, which is our spring plant sale. So they'll have a presentation at 8, and then the sale actually starts at 9. It goes until noon or until they run out of things, which they have some wonderful plants. They do a really good job. Some of them are actually grown there on site, and then some of them are brought in, but the ones that are brought in are ones that the Master Gardeners know work really well in the Montgomery County area. So the Met folks are kind of looking at me like, okay. All right, so Motivation Education Training Incorporated, they do lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things. But we have 3 programs represented here, or actually 4, because Denise, you're actually representing 2 different programs, right?
I have actually 3, but 2 of them do the same exact thing.
Okay, all right, so go ahead and introduce yourself, a little bit about your background.
My name is Denise Wyatt. I'm the operations manager for our home visiting programs and our parent course, which is Abriendo Puertas, Opening Doors in English. And the 2 parenting courses are for home visiting, are the Texas Home Visiting and the HOPES program. And HOPES is Healthy Outcomes Through Prevention and Early Support.
Another one of those acronyms. Yes.
One of those long acronyms that I have to really think about what it stands for.
Right.
And a little bit about myself, I've actually worked within all 3 programs before I became the operations manager. I've actually held every position that I oversee. So it was a different aspect that was coming into where I could kind of relate to a lot of the staff. So that's been a different culture change for the office, because getting support for an individual that has actually done everything that everybody has done. So that's been exciting for me and the staff. So but one thing, I guess, from my background, I come from early childhood. I first was a parent for Early Head Start, and I started venturing into getting my degree. So I went from early childhood to psychology, and then now project management. So just a lot of things in work. So a lot of things have changed for me. So just excited.
Okay, we're glad to have you, Denise.
Thank you.
All right, Carrie. I was about to call you Kathy. Kathy is your coworker. Does that happen to you guys often? Do you like?
No, not very often. So my name is Carrie Valdez, and I'm the program specialist for the CSEP program, which is Senior Community Service Employment Program.
Another acronym.
Exactly. And we help the older workers build the experience and confidence they need to help sustain permanent employment. And we do that through a series of process, first we would qualify them, and then we would get their background history and see what skills they have versus the skills that they lack, and then that would help us determine what host agencies we would utilize to help these individuals get the training skills that they need that's hindering them from finding work in today's work environment.
All right. And then how did you come to work for Met? What's your background?
Actually, I visited a local library one day, and the librarian's like, "Hey, I think you would be good at this job. You need to contact this lady." And I think she even told me her name was Cindy, and I called, and that's actually my supervisor now. And by the grace of God, they liked me, and I liked them, and it worked out, and here we are.
Awesome. So what did you do before you came to Met?
I was in the dental field for quite some time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's been a
different,
change.
Yeah. And nothing wrong with that. Sometimes that happens. All right, Valerie.
Okay. My name is Valerie Stewart, senior. Recently got married this year.
Congratulations.
In 2019. I am the director at Willis Head Start Center. At Head Start, we provide Head Start services for children 3 to 5 years of age, and mostly from low income and at-risk backgrounds. So we're able to enhance their Head Start experience. We offer social emotional development, preschool curriculum. We offer family services and health services. So our goal is to mostly, strengthen the whole family as a whole.
Right.
So.
And then a little bit more about you, your background.
My background, I found Head Start, I should say, by enrolling my child. I was a parent first, and so I was there volunteering every day, basically. And they were like, "You're here every day anyway. Why don't you come to work for us?" So that's what I did. And I was actually in the medical field prior to that, and I was telling her about it earlier. I was like, education isn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't in my path. I didn't think at all until I just fell in love with the program. And so they really helped my child out a lot. And now my child actually has learning disabilities. And now with the early intervention that we got from Head Start, he graduated with a year scholarship to Lone Star. And now he decided he's going to join the Army. So he's in the Army now. But he's overcame all the obstacles, so many obstacles in his life. And I know for a fact it wouldn't have been possible without Head Start and without the resources and the early intervention that we received from the program. And so that's where my heart's at and still is.
Yeah. So you several years ago, you said you started volunteering. And then how long have you been employed with
the 23rd of February makes 18 years.
All right. So she's the veteran, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just a little shy behind her.
Oh, so how long have you been with Matt?
Well, to be honest, like I said, I started as a parent, and I started in 2010. But then after having my third child, I took a little break and then came back. Yeah. So it'll be 10 years if I'm counting all the time lapse. But currently, I've been back for 5.
Wow. And then you're pretty new, right, Carrie?
I am. I started in June.
All right. So, and I think Met does some really wonderful things. So we're talking just about a few programs that they have. Lots of federal grants. So they're pretty much all federal grants, right? Or do they have other stuff too?
My programs are actually state funded.
Okay.
Yes. So we're probably the smallest group of the state funded. I don't think mostly everybody is federally funded.
So and basically most of the programs are with are grant based, though, right? Right. So they take in a lot of different programs, they administer them. And I think that the interesting thing, and I think all of you have kind of touched on this a little bit, they really are serving families to help families make their lives better. Of course, that's one of the things we do in Extension. We help Texans make their lives better.
Right.
And then I do family and community health. So I think that that's a really nice connection there. And that's one of the things, one of the reasons why I really enjoy working with Met. And great people, I think. So I'm glad you guys are here today. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about each of these programs. So we'll visit some about how to get involved in those, because we're talking quite an age range here. So young ones to older adults. So there's something for everybody. We'll also kind of leave folks with some good parenting tips, some good tips for living an active lifestyle through the older years and those kinds of things. Have lots of great information, but we are going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, and we'll talk more in depth about these things. See you in a minute.
We have the safest food supply in the world. Strict laws and regulations restrict the usage of hormones, antibiotics, and pesticides within our food supply. Production agriculture practices and technologies such as the use of GMOs, which is not any more or less risky than conventional crop production, has allowed American farmers to produce more food on less acres in environmentally sound ways. Find out more online at pathtotheplate.tamu.edu. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make lives better.
A Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Welcome back to the Extension Hour. I'm Amy Ressler. I've got three beautiful ladies in the room with me today. We're talking about some of the programs that Met offers, so motivation, education, training, because what we do here on the Extension Hour is we talk about our people, our programs, and our partnerships, and we do partner with several of the Met programs. So I think that we've done something with all of you guys that are in the room here today. But let me tell you a little bit about some of the other things that are going on in Extension. So before the break, we talked about the Master Gardener Association, their Saturday classes, their upcoming spring plant sale on March 28th. The Agriculture Department is also doing a lot of really great stuff. So one that we're really excited about, we're always excited about all of the programs that we do. So, but there's this one in particular that's been a long time scheduling because the speaker is in really high demand. She covered all of Texas. And it's kind of a hot topic among landowners or people who want to be landowners. And so this it's a workshop called Owning Your Piece of Texas, Key Laws Landowners Need to Know. And so the guest speaker is Tiffany Dowell-Lashment, and she is with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, but she's an agriculture law specialist. So she's going to kind of go through all the legal aspects of owning land. A lot of people are interested in how to get agricultural exemptions. And often they'll call our office thinking that we can give those to them. And so she's going to talk a little bit about how those all work. Anyway, so that's going to be on March 16th. It's 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to be at the Lone Star Convention Center and Expo Center. So that's actually like right across the street from our office. So that address is 9055, so 9055 Airport Road. There'll be a couple other speakers too. There's going to be Kyle Baum of Mars, Ellis, and Hodge out of Austin, and then Dr. Blake Bennett, who is an AgriLife specialist from the Dallas area. So there's a registration fee for that to cover all of the materials and the meals and that kind of thing. So it's $75. Again, that's on March 16th of 2020. We're looking forward to that. So also pesticide applicators, so they have to maintain continuing education units to be able to keep their applicator license. And so there's a private pesticide applicator class that's going to happen at the Extension office on Tuesday, April 23rd, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that'll be at the Extension office. And then that's across the street from the Lone Star Convention Center, which is 9020 Airport Road. And then the art of horsemanship. So we talked a little bit about acronyms that we use a lot. ART, A-R-T, Art of Horsemanship. So that stands for attention, respect, and trust. And that's going to actually be out in the Willis area. That'll be at the Willis Arena at 13551 Rogers Road. And that will be on Saturday, April 18th, 2020. So any of these things that we talk about in the Extension Hour, if anybody is listening, has questions, wants more information, you can always call our office. We actually have a few different numbers that we use. 936-539-7825 is the one that I'm most familiar with. But it's got a menu system that'll get you to any of our departments. And don't worry about if you get, don't know which department to choose, because usually we can get you to the right person eventually. All right. So, blah, 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 blah. Lots of stuff going on. But there's lots of stuff going on with you guys, too. So you just had a recent Family Community Coalition event.
Yeah. Actually, it's today from 9 to 1 at the Grangerland Community Center. I don't know the address.
It's okay. By the time this airs, people are not it's going to be passed. But you guys do that fairly often.
Yes, every quarter.
Okay.
So I believe the next one may be sometime at the beginning of summer.
All right. And that's open to all families that are interested?
Yes, it's actually a community event. So we pick an area to host, to focus on wellness and health. Like right now, we have the Christus mobile health van. I think they have that out at our event right now. We try to get a dental van, some free haircuts. So we do various things focused on wellness and health for the families in the community.
And it's open to any family,
And it's
right?
open to any family within that community.
Okay. So, and then often it's families that are also participating in your
our
programs.
program, yes.
But it's a good way to find out a little bit more
Our
about the programs and
yes.
what's happening.
And our partners agencies also, because I believe you guys are out there too.
Yeah. Mike's out there with the blender bike. It's like it's his bicycle that's on a stand, sort of. It's like we used to have one that was like literally a real bicycle, and it was just on a stand. But then we got an updated one that's only has one wheel, and then the backside is stable. Then that way it makes it more stable, and it's got a blender attached to it, so it's some kind of contraption where from the wheel to the base, and so the base, you put the blender on the base, and as you pedal, it turns this little thing that turns the blade in the blender so you can make little smoothies in the blender bike. It's cool. It is really cool.
We've had it out at a few events. The kids love it, even the parents. They think it's interesting. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's a little unrealistic, right? You're not going to have a blender bike at home, and that's not going to be how you make your smoothies. But it's a good attention getter, and it's a good reinforcement, physical activity,
And
good
healthy.
nutrition, all those kinds of things. We usually have them out at Kids Fest. We have that at Kids Fest, and you guys will be at Kids Fest
Yes,
as
we
well.
Yes.
April 25th. Am I saying the right date? I should look that up
believe it.
ahead of time. So April 25th, 2020, right here in downtown Conroe, we'll have Kids Fest, and that usually brings like 10 to 15,000 people.
Yes, it does.
And like the whole Met crew is out there usually, almost
Almost
every
a bit of every program.
potential program. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about your program. So Texas Home Visiting, and Opening Doors.
Opening Doors and the Hopes program.
Okay.
So both Texas Home Visiting Hopes program are voluntary home visiting classes for parents, which early childhood professional comes into the home on a regular basis. Usually it's about twice a month to schedule visits with the mom to build their parenting skills, to talk about their issues and concerns and their milestones, where the children should be developmentally. We offer support as far as referrals, getting them access to community partners in case of a referral, or even if the family is just in need of just getting connected with another community partner, we try our best to have them make that connection. But we do focus on the child's development and the parenting skills. So Most of that is just the parent educator in there as a guide to help the mom to educate the child before they enter school. So that's why we serve between 0 and 5. And on some cases, we do serve some 6-year-olds, but it's based if they haven't started kindergarten. So once they meet that kindergarten requirement, we transition our families out into the ISD.
And it's preschool, so before children go to school,
Yes.
it's helping to make sure that they're ready. And literally, it's an educator comes
Yes,
to the family, to the home, so that's why it's Texas Home Visiting, and just kind of helps the parent become a better teacher because the parent is the first teacher of their
Most influential teacher at that.
most definitely, yes. And so used to Head Start had a home-based program, right?
Right.
And then the Texas Home Visiting kind of took the place of that.
Well, here in Montgomery County.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Here in
they-
Montgomery
County,
County,
yeah.
yes.
Some
They
other
still
places
have
still have it.
home educators, or I think family educators at the center. So, but same thing, the same concept.
So when being a parent, there's no guide on how to be a parent. There's not a manual that they send you home, from the hospital with that tells you what to do. When this happens, do this. When this happens, do this. No. So it can be a struggle, and it can be it's a beautiful, wonderful thing, but it also can be really stressful having this little tiny human that you are completely responsible for.
Exactly.
So Texas Home Visiting gives a really great support for families.
Yes, we do. We try our very best. And we try to cater the visits to what the parents really want. So the first 10 sessions are kind of planned out for the families just to kind of get them familiar with the curriculum, which is Parents as Teachers, and it's an evidence-based program that's internationally known. So we are currently using that curriculum to go out into the homes.
So an evidence-based program means it works.
Yes,
It's
it
worked in
works.
other
Been tested,
places.
tried,
Yes,
yes.
so nobody's being like a guinea pig. It's not like
It's the
the
evidence-based.
latest information from the internet that you should try with your kid. It's actually things that have worked.
Yes.
All right, so I sorry I interrupted. I just
No,
wanted to
you're
make sure that evidence-based is one of those things that we understand what it really is.
means, yes.
So, educator comes to the parent, gives them great information.
Gives them information. Like I said, that it's all based on and tailored to the family's needs and their wants. So if mom wants to talk about literacy, that's what the parent educator will focus on, literacy. So it's just gradually moving that family on to having a better understanding of the child's development so that they are school ready once it comes time.
Yeah.
So, and then our Abriendo Puertas Opening Doors program is that 10-week parenting course we offer. It's one of our fairly newest programs. It's been around for about 2 years now. So that program, we kind of use that as a platform for parents to actually discuss the child's development, their cultural backgrounds, the things that influence them as a parent. So it's actually a dialogue-based class. We have a facilitator who is there to facilitate the classes. They have topics that they go off of, but the parents are there to learn from each other and talk about their experiences and how that changes and implements the way they implement things within their home. And then just teaching them best practices. Also, they're learning from each other.
So sort of like the Texas Home Visiting, but it's so the parents come to a location.
Yes. So we use a lot of our host agencies like AgriLife, and we set out calendars when we're going to be in an area. We try to offer English and Spanish classes. So flyers usually go out. We use to advertise on our Facebook page and several other things. So, and we have like some host agents say, hey, we have X amount of our clients that are that qualified for the program. So as long as they have a child 0 to 5, they can qualify for this program, which is completely free also too.
All right. It's awesome programs. You've got a couple of more that you want to talk about. It's very similar to Head Start as well. So we're going to talk a little bit more about those kinds of things, and then we'll also get into the opportunities for the older adults. But I, was on a roll talking about all kinds of things. We're going to take another break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. This is the Extension Hour here every Friday, 1 to 2. I almost said 1 to 5. I'm making up stuff. All right, time for a break. See you in a minute.
We have the safest food supply in the world. Strict laws and regulations restrict the usage of hormones, antibiotics, and pesticides within our food supply. Production agriculture practices and technologies such as the use of GMOs, which is not any more or less risky than conventional crop production, has allowed American farmers to produce more food on less acres in environmentally sound ways. Find out more online at pathtotheplate.tamu.edu. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make lives better.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
And welcome back to the Extension Hour. I'm Amy Ressler, and I'm like on a roll today, just like blah, 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 talking about all kinds of things. Because we've got a lot of great programs that we're talking about with the Motivation Education Training, also known as MET Incorporated, because they are one of our partners that we work a lot with. And so we've been visiting with Denise Wyatt and talked a little bit about Texas Home Visiting. We touched on Abundo Puertas, and opening doors. I try really hard not to butcher it because I think that it really is an awesome program, and I don't like to misrepresent it or make it sound like it's trivial because it really is great. It's just I'm not very good at speaking Spanish, but so all right with that title, classes are taught in Spanish.
In Spanish, yes, and we offer the class in English also.
Okay,
So it can be taught in both languages.
awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. And you said that program is how many weeks?
10 weeks.
People come to a specific location.
Center, preferably a host agency like AgriLife. We have Conroe IC, which we recently just partnered with to host some classes for some of their parents. And it's still open up to the community. So usually if we have a class in that area, and it's just, we try to help the parents get to the closest class to them. So we try to do them in cohorts. So we'll do a few classes in Conroe for a while, and then we'll change it around. We'll go to Splendora. So we try to touch on the county and based off the needs. We have a high need in Conroe, so we're frequently in Conroe.
Right. And then there's 10 weeks. It's like literally same time every week.
Same time. You would get a planned out agenda already. So the parents, the first day of class, they will already know the exact schedule, the location. It'll be on a calendar for them, so the parents will know the exact time. And then we give follow-up appointments, like we'll call and like, hey, don't forget, about the class. But other than that, it's completely voluntary. So if the parents decide not to show up, that is a choice that they have.
And then what do parents get for attending the classes?
For attending the classes, we do stipends for childcare. So we give them $20 for childcare so that they can arrange for someone to take care of their child while they're in a class. And we do a gas stipend, so $10 to be reimbursed them for their travel.
Great.
So and that's every session. Okay. Yes, for every session.
That's in addition to getting
In
awesome
addition to getting all this information.
yes, that helps them be better parents. Because like I said before, I mean, parenting is a hard job, and some of us are really good at it. Some of us struggle a little bit more, but even the ones that are really good at it, there's always still struggles that come up. So being able to interact with others is really helpful as well.
And it gives the parents a chance to kind of mingle with other parents, because you see a lot of stay-at-home moms have that struggle of like they don't feel like they're connecting with anybody. They're only communicating with a little person. So they're like, oh, I'm just talking to this, my kid. And it's like,
conversation.
I haven't talked to an adult in a long time. So you get a lot of that in the class. They're like, oh, I really want to talk to somebody. So you get a lot of conversation going in class. A lot of the parents working together and even starting their own support groups amongst the class. You have parents that till today, they've been in sessions over a year ago, and some of them are still meeting up to have play dates because they didn't know that there was somebody that lived about 5 miles from them that had a kid the same age or that they could relate to.
Yeah, that's awesome. One more program that we mentioned, HOPES
program.
Acronym.
That's Healthy Outcomes Through Prevention and Early Support. That's a hard one to remember.
It's okay.
So exactly like Texas Home Visiting. The only difference is that the HOPES program is for more at risk families, and the early childhood professionals they're trained to handle more of crisis situations with families.
Okay. All right.
So that's the only main difference. Still voluntary, still 0 to 5.
All right. So what is the difference between Texas Home Visiting, Hopes, Opening Doors, and Head Start?
Just I guess the format. I guess
Yeah.
as far as we're in the home and it's a center base.
Okay.
So we're more home based and more like in the community as far as reaching out and going to the families. And Head Start, the families would actually come to us.
Right. And Head Start's very much like a school,
Right.
right? So Valerie, tell us a little bit more about how the Head Start program works.
Basically, like I said before, Head Start is for ages 3 to 5. There are early Head Start programs and child care partnership programs, and they are from birth to, or I think it's 6 weeks to I'm trying to think, 6 weeks to 3. And then once they age out at 3, they normally will come to us. And we do offer the pregnancy services for pregnant moms as well. But that's early Head Start and the CCP programs. And
CCP is
Child Care Partnership,
Okay, so
another
that-
acronym.
so that's like a child care center, and then there's
Yes.
additional support given. So it's like a kind of a hybrid between quote unquote regular child care and Head Start.
Right. We go into with the Head Start, with the daycares, and we kind of bring them our values and our policies, and not saying that, the daycares weren't already good, because
Right.
they probably were, but we bring in our methods and our support. So,
And then the Head Start program. So you just mentioned the early Head Start for the babies, basically, and then they go to regular Head Start, and that's the one that you're most familiar with,
Right.
as the director of Willis Head Start.
yes. At Willis, we serve 110 families every year. That's what we're funded for, and we are always fully enrolled. So right now, we have a pretty good waiting list. Montgomery County has 2 Head Start programs. We have one in the Grangerland area, Conroe, and then in Willis. So, but as far as Head Start centers, there's 8 altogether that MET is over. There's Head Start centers, nationwide.
Right.
But we have centers in Anahuac, Cleveland, Grangerland, Coots, Liberty, Sealy, and Willis. In the 4 counties too, which is Chambers, Liberty, Montgomery, and Waller.
And so I would just mention too that we're talking federally funded Head Start programs.
Right.
Some schools now are implementing Head Start or pre-K. Some of them call it Head Start as well. So specifically what MET works with is the federally funded Head Start. So there may be other Head Starts, but the ones that, just to clarify, the ones that we're talking about today are the ones that are managed by MET.
Yes.
All right, so if someone's interested in Head Start and wants to get involved, how do they do that?
They basically would contact us and they fill an application. And our children are accepted on a point system. Different things will give you points. Income, the child's age, if there's any, risk factors within the family, public assistance, if there's abuse, drug addictions, things like that. All that kind of stuff gives them points and will help that child get into our program so that we can strengthen that family.
So these are generally families that have significant challenges one way or another, and it's just helping get those children. And we call it Head Start, but it's really just kind of helping them get the support that they might not get otherwise so that they are ready to start school, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not a daycare.
It's not a daycare. We are a literacy-based program. We bring reading in as much as we can, all the way from in one of your programs, I keep changing the name of it.
The Fred program.
Oh, yeah,
The
Families
Fred
Reading Every
program.
Day.
The
Yes.
family's reading every day. Father's reading every day. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, but family's reading every day. from that, and we have another reading program through Bentwater that they come in, their seniors come in and they read to our kids 4 days a week. So, and that is called the CARS program. But we bring in literacy, we bring in reading, and we know that if we can start that child off with a love of reading, their whole educational career is going to be stronger. And we are very structured. A lot of kids don't get that at home, so when they come to us, it's kind of a shock to them. But we have, all of our teachers have advanced degrees in early childhood or a related field. And so they're all very good and good at getting them where we need them to be pretty quickly. Our curriculum, it's a curriculum, but it's not, that's why I say we're not daycare, because we are very structured. So we have a schedule. The kids can tell you come into my center, and Amy has been there, and the kids can tell you what's going to happen next. They know exactly throughout the day what they're doing. And so that kind of narrows down that time for the idle play, which leads to, behavior problems and things like that. We're very fortunate that we don't, at my center, we don't have a whole lot of that, this year especially. But if we were to run into significant issues, behavior challenges with children, we offer also mental health services and, health services to help get that child on the right track before they start school.
Yeah, because I have noticed the times that I have been there, there's lots of, you have other services that are coming in to
Yes.
help with the children. So whatever it is that their needs are, you guys have like dental services even. Like
Yes.
sometimes you have a dental check day and that kind of thing. So it's addressing all kinds of things that the kids might need.
Right. We have, like, if, let's say, a child comes in and we feel that they have a speech impediment or something like that, we do referrals immediately. Because, like I said before, early intervention is everything. And that is definitely my goal as the director there, because, like I said, my son is amazing. And not saying he wouldn't have been without Head Start, but I do know that they really did help. And so that's why my heart's here.
So you were able to identify some of those things early, and he's a great success story of what Head Start can do.
Yes, the early intervention, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything.
And I know we could probably talk about all kinds of success stories and families that have done really well with the Head Start program, children who have done well because of that. And we have some other things to talk about as well, because, like I said, there's so many great programs that we've done. And Carrie, we need to hear from you and your program. But before we do that, we're going to take another break. You're listening to the Extension Hour. We're here on Fridays, 104.5, 106.1, irlonestar.com. And you guys, this is a podcast. So it's recorded and it's put on like YouTube and Apple Play and Google Play. And so, if someone wants to know more about any of these programs, they can go back and listen to the segment that talked about it and go, oh yeah, that's what they said. And I do want to get involved. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a minute.
From the beginning, the main purpose of the Cooperative Extension Service has been to change human behavior by teaching people how to apply the results of scientific research. By utilizing a holistic, multi-level approach, Extension family and community health programs encourage health and well-being for everyone. Addressing values, concerns, and needs with reliable science-based information, Extension programs help people lead healthier lives. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Welcome back to the Extension Hour. People, programs, partnerships, that's what we talk about here, all kinds of things that we do in Extension. We've mentioned a little bit about the Master Gardeners, a little bit about the stuff that's going on in agriculture, some of the things that are happening in 4-H right now. This is kind of stock show season, so there's lots of major stock shows happening. The Montgomery County Fair is about to happen, and so that's one of the things that a lot of 4-H members participate in. But then also in the spring, we get into a lot of the other contests that are not animal related projects. So some of them sort of are, but public speaking, there's food show, food challenge, fashion show, quiz bowls. Like there are so many things that you can do in 4-H, and this is a great time to learn more about that. So you can always call our office to learn more about that. They also have an awesome website, Montgomery County 4H.tamu.edu. Wonderful Facebook page, great information on that. And then some things that we're doing in family and community health. You mentioned the FRED project, so we're getting ready to do that again. It's Families Reading Every Day. Got to catch myself on the acronyms. Another one that happens in the spring that I love so much is the Walk Across Texas. So it'll start. What we say is on or about April 1st, because this year, like April 1st is a Wednesday, and maybe you don't want to start your team on a Wednesday. You want to start them on the Sunday before, Sunday after. It's a great thing about what we do in Montgomery County is we keep it pretty flexible because we just really want a lot of people to participate in. So that's like not for marathon runners. That is literally for becoming more physically active. So Walk Across Texas, April 1st. You'll hear more about that in the future. And then another thing that's going to happen that I want everybody to put on their calendar is the Community Help Expo. And this is sponsored by Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, and then also the Behavioral Health and Suicide Prevention Task Force. So you talked a little bit about Head Start, and I think some of the things that you mentioned too, a lot of that has to do with behavioral health and suicide prevention in some cases as well. So this Community Help Expo is going to talk about all kinds of things that help people relate to that. We'll have a guest speaker. It's Kevin Hines. He's one of the few people who have survived jumping off of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a very powerful story. So that'll be that night at 6:30. Before that, we'll have some breakout sessions, a little bit about working with children with challenges and that kind of thing. There'll be several of those. But again, more information that in the future. But let's talk a little bit more about the CSEP program. All right, Carrie, you ready? What does CSEP stand for? I did it.
It stands for Senior Community Service Employment Program.
Awesome.
And the purpose of our program is to help individuals who are 55 and older and are lacking skills to get back in today's work environment. And we do that by, once we qualify them, they do have to be 55 and older. It is income-based. We take these individuals, do different assessments with them, which is going to help us determine what skills they need versus the ones they lack. And then we partner with our host agencies, which is always going to be a government agency or a nonprofit as well. And then we're going to place them at these host agencies where they're going to get the training that they need to get back in today's workforce. As well as we also help them with building their resume, gaining confidence. So we have different events like resume building, job readiness, different workshops and things like that. And like Denise was saying earlier, when they have individuals in their program, how they work with others in the community, like for referral resources. If we have individuals come in and, we realize that they don't have the attire, to dress professional to go to an interview, we'll, send them out to someone who can help them with that. So we try to not only build their skills as far as the working environment, but their confidence as well.
And the ultimate goal is to help them find long-term employment.
That is correct.
And by doing that, so they build skills partnering with different agencies so that the cool thing about that is whoever's employing them for the time to learn the skills, they don't have to pay for it, right?
Correct. They are paid at minimum wage. The participants are allowed to train 16 hours a week. And like you were saying, it's a great place when we place them at the host agencies because it's a great opportunity when the host agencies are training our participants. While you're providing them this great training and making them become this great potential employee for you, they're at arm's reach if you would be interested in hiring them and helping them find unsubsidized employment. And that opens up doors for us to be able to help other individuals throughout the community. And anyone who's interested can contact us at 281-622-1913. Our office here in Conroe is located in the Workforce Center.
Okay. So we're talking about making contact. We talked about motivation, education, training, and you just gave a phone number But do you have different phone numbers for different programs?
We do, but you can contact any of our intake lines, and the one I'll give out is the 832-318-4400. Again, that's 832-318-4400. And you can contact regarding any of our programs as far as abriendo puertas, opening doors, the home visiting, and the person would be able to get you to whatever department you need to.
And I've even sometimes Googled motivation education
Yes.
training and found how to get a hold of, and
Yes,
also,
and you can visit the website.
yeah, I learned a lot about some of the other programs that you do as well. But sometimes when we're setting up the FRED program, I'm trying to contact the Head Starts, and I can't figure out where I put the sticky note where I placed the number, and so I'll go look at that, and that helps me find it too. Because I'm thinking with Head Start, so I've looked for that before, and there's others that are on there too.
Right.
So if you're looking for particularly this one, it's important to look for the Met one, right?
Right, yeah, the Met Head Start. And our number in Willis is 936-856-4810. The Grangerland Head Start is 936-231-2595. So those are both of our Montgomery County Head Start centers. You can call us anytime, just make an appointment to fill an application. Also, the Met Inc. website is a great way to see what everything that Met has to offer. You can go on there, and it shows you a lot about the Head Start programs, early Head Start programs, and every program we talked about here today. So it's metinc.org.
MET, Motivation
INC.
Education Training, Inc., INC, yes.
INC, yeah, metinc.org.
All right. So Denise, what do you think is the best thing about Texas Home Visiting?
That they were passionate about our families that we serve.
Yeah, I would say that about, I think, all of the Met programs. I think you guys are passionate people for sure.
Yes.
What's the best thing about Hopes?
The same thing.
And opening doors?
I really think that out of all the parenting courses I've ever heard of or experienced, it just brings a different dynamic. You find like you filled like a gap for the families as far as building those relationships between the parent and the child. You start to uncover some of the things why parents parent the way they do, and you help them be able to see that, hey, some of the things that you do aren't wrong, but how is it affecting your relationship with your child? So I think it opens up a different avenue for parents to look at the way they parent. So I think that's one of the best reasons.
Okay. Carrie, best thing about CSEP?
What's not the best thing is the question. Really, I think it's helping these older individuals when they come to us. A lot of them, they don't have the self-confidence and they have a lot of self-doubt. And once they get the training after we help them, go through the program, and just to see them light up like, oh my goodness, I did do this. I am doing this. And, when they call you and say, hey, thanks, I got a job here, I start, so I'm no longer going to be on the program because you cannot work and be on our program at the same time. Just really watching them overcome their fears and realize it's not over.
Yeah, and that reminds me too. I mentioned that the show's podcast. There was and I don't remember the exact date, but there was a time that we brought in several of the participants of CSEP and some of the host agencies, and we talked about that. So, if anybody's interested in more information about that I think that was a really good example of the variety of opportunities that are available, and then some really inspiring stories about the successes of the program as well.
I agree.
All right, Head Start. What's the best thing?
I think the best thing about Head Start is getting the children prepared for kindergarten and for their educational careers, and helping the families understand it's important. We create that first love of school and the school environment, and we just want our kids to continue to love learning. And so I think that we set that foundation, and I think that is one of the most important things.
All right. So like I said, one of the things we do in Extension is helping Texans make their lives better, but what Met does is help people make their lives better in a variety of ways across the lifespan. We're talking about really young ones, and we're talking about our older adults. And Met has some stuff for everybody in between
They do,
as well. So
yes.
there's lots of opportunities. All right, one more time, phone number.
832-318-4400.
All right, and then also our number at the Extension office, 936-539-7825. And I can find it too. It may take me a little bit, but I can find the numbers to help you get in contact with any of these programs. Thank you guys so much for being here today. It's a nice little overview of several of the great programs, and it's always nice to have folks from Met here with us because, like I said, we consider you guys our people and our partners, and you help us do programs as well because we work with you a lot on a lot of different things. And so we're here every Friday, 1 to 2, and I'm almost running out of time, so I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back next week with more great information. And like I said, you can go back and watch YouTube, Apple Play, all those things. Thanks for being here this afternoon. It was great seeing you. Take care.